Hey everybody, it's Tom again, just doing my next video for you. This week I thought I'd pick out some fans in the sense of paper or cardboard or whatever, linen fans that you wave to keep yourself cool in the sun. I've not got too many of them, so it's going to be a short video today, but I might have a surprise at the end. We'll see how things go. So, fans were produced not only for the person to cool themselves on a hot day, but they were also used to advertise products. Now, they wouldn't necessarily just have been at tennis events, but a fan would have had some advertising stuff on one side and perhaps a graphic or something on the other side. And these were obviously in their hand all the time, fanning your face, and so the advertising would be seen, or whatever would be seen on one side, and that was to remind people that their business was around and to come and buy the products. So they were an inventive way for manufacturers to remind the public of their businesses and entice them to buy. And with the advent of TV, of course, and matches being telecast, the manufacturers were assured of free advertising, with the public all waving around the fans and subsequently advertising their products free on TV. It's a good idea. So we're going to start with the most modern fan that I have in my collection, and then we'll work back to the old ones that I have, which are really nice ones to look at. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so you may remember this fan. This was the one that was in my oddities video, which was a foot-shaped fan brought out by Adidas, and this advertised the Adidas, the new shoe that was, not a new shoe, sorry, a new style of shoe that was brought out called Feet You Wear. And the technology behind that was that the shoes were more in line with your feet shape, and they were based on natural motion of the foot. So Feet You Wear, which is advertised on this fan, was brought out in 1996, and this face was the logo of the Feet You Wear. This particular fan is it's a sort of flexible plastic. It just tells you on the back all about the fan, and it's quite a good fan to use. So that's the Adidas one. The next fan is a Reebok fan. So again, it's a black plastic one, and this would have been between probably 1990s to early 2000s when Pat Rafter was with Reebok. And so on this side it has the Reebok logo, and on this side it has yours truly, Pat Rafter. So this was produced and handed out at the Australian Open. I'm not quite sure what year specifically, but it was again advertising Reebok. Their logo was in the back in a large format, easy to be seen. Again, beneficial to the manufacturers to have their logo seen. And so you could either have it on this side or have it on this side. So it didn't really matter. Lots of people, you can't really wave a fan like this and get them. So it's best to hold it this way and do that, so you can get a bit more rigid that way. Again, this is a plastic one, and quite a nice photo of Pat. I happen to have two of these. The next fan I have is from 2004, and it was brought out by American Express at the US Open in 2004, and it featured some players on them and advertised US Open Live which was held at the Rockefeller Center during the Open, and they had tennis-related activities. You could pose with your favourite player, and there was a unique tennis memorabilia auction also held, which when I got the fan, I was quite annoyed at, because obviously I would have liked to have bid on something at the Open, but unfortunately can't do that now. So you may notice that the players on these ones are Andre Agassi, which is quite a good likeness of him. Well, that's without his hair, of course. And the other one that's here is Andy Roddick, which is an American player. And this one also is one of the Williams sisters. I can't tell which one. Unfortunately, I'm not that good at separating the two of them. But these, really nice fans. These ones are a hard plastic, but they're really hard. They're not really bendy at all. No give in them. But again, very nice to use. So these had the US Open 2004 logo, and that's the right way up. Nope, it's the wrong way up. Sorry, guys. And just to updates on the Open, where to go, and it tells you the events that were on at the Rockefeller Center and the dates and such like. The dates were September the 4th to September the 12th. These, of course, are written in American format dates, so I actually thought this was the 9th of April to the 9th of December, which was ludicrous to think that, of course. But I realised then, of course, it's the American version of how you type the date. But these are really nice ones. Very happy with these. Whether there were any more players than those three, I'm not too sure, but I managed to get these. And sticking with the American Express products, in 2005 at the Australian Open, which was the Australian Open's centenary from 1905 to 2005, American Express brought out the fans again, and these were advertising their stand that they had at the Australian Open. And so you could have your photo taken with a tennis pro, so it details the things you could have there. Just pull it back a bit, sorry. So these were similar to US Open ones. They featured two players, and as a card member you had access to the marquee. You could watch the tennis on a Jumbotron plasma TV, which is Americans like Jumbotron TVs, and you were in air-conditioned comfort to watch the tennis. So also, if you spent $75 or more on products with your American Express card, because it proved you were a member, you were given a free commemorative camera, and it had a player on it. I think you've seen these before on one of my previous videos, and I think it might have been on my photos video, I'm not too sure. But they were on sale with several players on them, so I've put a picture on here just to let you see the cameras that I had at the time. I think there was 3 cameras, 3 different players. And so I'm assuming that the 3 different players on the cameras were on the fans, but I only seem to have 2 of them, so the ones I have are Andy Roddick, which is a really good graphic. Obviously, just having been either made a really good shot or had an argument with the umpire, I'm not too sure. It's just a strange pose to have as opposed to not playing tennis. And the other one was, again, a Williams sister. And this is rather a good graphic as well. I like this one. Again, I don't know which one it is. There's got to be a way to tell them apart, I guess. It's just hard for me. So advertising again, so advertising the American Express card. So on the front here it said my card, American Express, my life, my card. And on the other side was the advertising their marquee and the things that they were going to do at the Open that specific year. And they had their card, their Australian Open 1905, 2025. So, but it's quite possible there were more fans, but these were the only two I could obtain at the Open when I was up there that year. Again, they're really a very tough plastic. They're not easily bent at all, but certainly very nice to have. So you could have whoever you supported, you would obviously buy their fan, well, get their fan as opposed to someone else's. So the normal fan you would think of is a paper fan that opens out into what's called a fan shape, obviously. And this is one I bought at the Australian Open in 2025. They had several different designs. The other ones I thought were quite boring. They just had maybe the AO lettering, or I can't remember what the other ones were, but they were, I think it might just have been a tennis player or something graphic, or even the Serving Man logo, which was not very exciting. But they had another one in here which I quite liked, the colours and all sorts of things on it. And it was this one. So this is, as you can see, this is just a wooden supports and paper fan that was folded out. So this is the one from the Australian Open in 2025, which is rather a nice one. It wasn't very expensive. It's the same on both sides. But you can see it has the AO logo, which is this AO for Australian Open, and a little bird. It looks like a seagull, I'm not quite sure, having a tennis racket, and it's got rainbow coloured wings. And as you can see, this fan has the rainbow on it. And so this one was brought out, the rainbow represents the pride, the gay and lesbian pride rainbow. And this one, it's a simple paper fan, the type that you would just use as normal. So, but it's rather nice, nice design, nice colours, and I bought that because of that, because I thought the other ones were boring. But anyway, so that's quite a nice one. And that was Australian Open 2025. So going a bit earlier, this next fan is from the 1920s or thereabouts. It is a Davis Cup related cardboard fan, and as you can see, it's just a round shape with a handle. This is just to strengthen it because it's just made of cardboard. It was advertising the Challenge racket, which is one of Slazenger's rackets that they produced. It just says, so this is the front of it. It's a really nice graphic. And it says, follow the Davis Cup stars and use a Slazenger Challenge racket. So the three players on there would have been players that would have used the Challenge racket. I don't think they would have put someone else on that didn't. But again, it's just an advertising fan, cardboard, simple cardboard. And on the back it has that little design of Slazenger tennis racket and balls. And this particular racket is, just see if you can see it. So the Slazenger racket that's advertised on here is called the 3-point tennis racket. That racket would probably be, that racket I think was produced in 1924. So this would have to be later than 1924, and during a Davis Cup Challenge round, I would imagine, was produced. But really nice graphics, but simple cardboard, and it's actually in really good condition, so it's been well looked after, that one. So another that I have is again from the 1920s era. Might be slightly later, maybe 20s, 30s. It's a cardboard one again, but it's a quite flimsy one. Advertising a confectioner in Sydney. So as you can see, they're again still being used for advertising. And the front of this fan is a really nice graphic. It is a lady in a nice style of dress. She's in a sort of mid-length skirt and top, has a wooden racket, an oval head. So the style of the dress and the racket dictates that this is around the 1920s era, 1920s to 1930s possibly. And a very nice graphic, but quite a flimsy one, this one. So I have to look after this one. Keep it in the cabinet. So these are the fans that I have, which are modern to pretty much new. I have one fan which I'm just going to show you, which is early 1900s, possibly earlier, but I think the early 1900s is probably about the date because it's hand painted. It is again, it's the fold out type. You can see here it is a tortoise shell outer edges. There are names for all these parts, but I should have researched them to give you a better idea what they were. But these are the main struts of the fan, and they're made of tortoise shell. On the bottom, there was, as you can see, there's on both sides, there's this here and here, and it had a U-shaped thing, and it would have had a tassel hanging off the end of that, and so it would have been held by the tassel until the lady wanted it, and then she would just have brought it up and opened it out. And this one I really like. It looks like a sort of linen or silk. It's very delicate. You can actually see through this material, and it's one piece of material, and then it's individually strengthened by the struts that are in the middle. And these struts, they look like wood, and I have a feeling that's probably what they are, but sometimes they made them with bamboo or ivory, but it's neither of that. So, but this one I like because it has a really nice design on there. So you can see by looking at that, it's a lady standing with her dog and two children playing tennis. And so I know that it's tennis because it actually has a tennis ball down here somewhere, just on the edge of the court. You can probably see it there. And so this is hand painted. It's not a printed design, but it's a very nice fan. So that's the best one in my collection. So that's in a cabinet all the time, and it doesn't come out. So it sits in the cabinet, all open to be viewed. Looks really nice. I like that one. Another fan that I have, which I'm not sure is a fan, it's a racket shape. It does have an advert on the other side, and it advertises the Davis Cup, but it's actually advertising a drink. It's not advertising a Davis Cup tennis racket or an event or anything like that. It's a drink called the Davis Cup, and it's made of cardboard, and it's good for keeping yourself cool, but I'm not too sure whether it's a fan or whether it's just an extremely large coaster, because it is a drink advertising on it. It seems a bit inconvenient to have this placed in front of you, where coasters are just generally round or square, whatever. This one, having this out at the side, seems a bit cumbersome, and so I'm not sure whether it's a fan or not. But I did research the drink, the Davis Cup drink, and I have found the recipe for it, and I'm thinking I might try and make it and see what it's like. But if it's not a fan, then it will be a coaster, but we'll see how the drink goes.
It's actually very nice. Yes, highly recommend it. Cheers.
So that's all the fans I have. Wasn't a long video today. I didn't want to be putting hundreds and hundreds of things out there. I got some feedback on my last video, the sword, the bowl and the tennis star, and people said that they liked the fact that it was just not just a short video, but it was fewer items, and they were more inclined to have watched that because of that reason. So, but I had always thought about doing the fans, and I thought, well, I'll get that out of the way, get that done, and then perhaps I'll start doing less items, same category but less items, so that it's not so long to watch. So we'll see how we go from there. Okay, so that's all for today. Short video on the fans. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep well. Hope you're all looking after yourselves, and I shall see you on the next video. Bye.